Ahead of tonight's English language leaders debate, Liberal leader Mark Carney has seen his polling numbers and support dip. This is according to the latest numbers out of Nanos Research.
The latest poll for CTV News and the Globe and Mail shows Carney dropping more than 2 points to 47.4% support. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is down slightly to just under 34% support. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh is up just a bit to 4.7% support.
And when it comes to party support, the Liberals' lead over the Conservatives is now at less than 5 points. The Liberals are down more than a point to 43.5% support, while the Conservatives are up a point, edging closer to 39% support.
So federal party leaders will meet once again in Montreal tonight for the English language debate after facing off in French.
We saw Liberal leader Mark Carney along with Conservative Pierre Poilievre, New Democrat Jagmeet Singh, and Bloc leader Yves-François Blanchet on stage last night debating several issues that have, of course, been dominating talk of the campaign trail and form the basis of some policy promises. Some of those topics, of course, including healthcare, housing, and the main priority, dealing with U.S. President Donald Trump.
I am, because I'm going to put Canada first. I will never compromise Canada's interests. And I will control what we can control here. Obviously, no one will be able to control the decisions of Donald Trump, but we can control our economy, our domestic economy, by overturning liberal economic policies that have weakened our country and made us more dependent on the Americans.
You would make Canada more like the United States. You would Americanize our healthcare system, privatize it. Everyone knows that's what conservatives do.
That's not true.
All right. First of all, I know how to negotiate. And I agree with Mr. Singh. We need to start by saying what's never going to be on the table. The French language, Quebec's culture, and supply management will never be on the table.
Let's be honest. And perhaps it's right. You say that you're an expert in managing a crisis, but you say you're a negotiator, but, well, perhaps negotiating with tax havens. But when it comes to trade agreements, I haven't seen the proof.
Okay, so can't wait for tonight's English debate because last night was like watching a badly dubbed foreign film. CTV's news political commentator Scott Reid live this morning. I tried so hard to watch this and decipher it, but when you don't I recognize the voices so well, Scott, it is kind of hard to pick up on the actual vibe of the debate.
Yeah, for sure. And I tried to rewatch it in French. I could follow Carney perfectly, but Blanchet lost me. So I found the boundaries of my French language ear. I think last night was interesting, and those clips in many ways sort of display what we got throughout the entire 2 hours, which was more or less an understated strategy from Poilievre and Carney as the front runners. I thought what was most interesting is that neither one of them really went in there looking to be in a boxing match. They were very sort of pulled back, focused on the camera, tried to connect with voters, and in the case of Carney in particular, really just tried to emphasize, his strengths as someone that can take on Donald Trump, someone that can manage the economy. He didn't get flowery. He didn't overreach using, the French as a second language. And to be honest with you, I don't think there were any big takeaways from the debate last night. I don't think it shifted anything. And if you're Mark Carney, you therefore have to feel pretty pleased with that. If you're Pierre Poilievre, you have to say, all right, tonight's in English. What do? Do I take off the gloves? Do I try to swing at this guy? Or do I let other people do that job?
Yeah, interesting observation, Scott, because, listening to Pierre Poilievre speak in French, I don't know about you or other people, but I definitely felt like there was less of that kind of attack dog tone and mentality going in. And he really highlighted, like, hey, the history of the Liberal Party and the fact that Mark Carney, was the financial advisor to that party. And is this party really going to change with a new leader? So going into the English language debate, are the gloves coming off? What do you expect to see here? And what we all should be watching for?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see if both the front runners, if they decide to make a shift in strategy. So to your point, Pierre Poilievre makes this argument all the time. This is a fourth Liberal term. Why would we expect anything different? Mark Carney's no different than Justin Trudeau. Sometimes that fails to meet the eye test. Canadians go, I don't know, this guy looks a lot different than Justin Trudeau. So I'll be looking to see if he amplifies the attack, if he decides to take a different strategy in English and is more combative. The downside for Poilievre when he's more combative is that he comes off as kind of Trumpy. We know he has a big problem with women voters. So does that turn women voters off? Or does he say, look, my mission is to dismantle Carney. I've got to do that. I've got to bring this guy back down to earth. So it'll be interesting to watch from his standpoint. And for Carney, does he show a little more pep? Last night, he was pretty content to just ignore the other leaders, wave past all the provocations they threw his way, and just sort of speak to voters. Tonight he's in English. He's a little more comfortable. He can swing a little harder. Does he mix it up more? Does he try to do a better job of constantly connecting himself, to the concerns that people have about Donald Trump and economic insecurity? So I'll be watching to see if there's any shift in strategies from either of the front runners. And also, Jagmeet Singh last night was a wrecking ball. He was really going after Poilievre. And will he continue to do that? Because he needs to go after Carney. That's where all his votes have gone, to the Liberals.
Yeah, it was an interesting strategy. I thought the same thing, Scott, as I was trying to decipher what was happening. Be much easier tonight. We'll be looking forward to that. Scott Reid, our CTV News political commentator. Always appreciate the time, Scott. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a good long weekend.